It may come as a surprise, but in Ontario, August is the month we see the most car accidents in Ontario. If you're in or witness an accident, what should you do? Here for another edition of Ask the Expert is Brenda Hollingsworth of Auger Hollingsworth. We want you to send us in your questions. We're going to be talking to Brenda for the next short while here. She can answer all your questions. Brenda is a personal injury lawyer with Auger Hollingsworth. Welcome to the program, Brenda.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so Brenda, why is it that August turns out to be the month where Ontario sees the most car accidents?
It's very surprising. You know, we live in a snowy place, so we would think that it would be winter accidents, but statistically, it's August, and statistically, it is the Labor Day long weekend that has the most serious traffic accidents involving injuries and fatalities. So it is something to be aware of as we head into the last days of summer. People are out there having a good time, maybe having a few drinks, leaving cottage properties late at night to get home for say Monday at work, and maybe you're tired, maybe you've had too much sun. Hard to know what the exact reason is, but we do know year over year that that's what the statistics show.
Brenda, what should a person do if they are in a car accident?
Right. So the number one thing, pretty obvious, but make sure that you are in safety. So make sure that you're not getting out of your car on the highway. Check and make sure everybody in your car is okay. If it's safe to do so, check on people in any other vehicles and call emergency services. So the immediate security of the situation is key. We've had a number of cases over the years where people have been injured after the initial collision. So either they're hit after they get out of their car, or their car is hit again because it stopped in an unsafe position. So security is number one. Emergency services, obviously, number two. A lot of people think, oh, I can't call the police, because I'm not bleeding or something, but you actually can and you should call the police. If there are any injuries, even something you would consider a relatively minor injury, you should call the police and you should urge them to come. It is a lot more difficult later on if you go to a collision center. Even if both you and the other driver go to the collision center, it does make it more difficult as your claim progresses. So try to get the police to come if you're injured.
Is that a misstep that you find happens most often when somebody is in a car accident and they're not bleeding and they just don't call police?
Yeah, I mean, most people call the police, but, the police are busy and they've got competing calls. And so people are typically asked, could you make it to a collision center? And somebody thinks, well, yeah, they're in shock. They've got adrenaline pumping and they think, yeah, I think this car's drivable. Yeah, I think I could get to the collision center, and they go that way. It's on advice of a dispatcher or somebody who answers the phone at the police station, but it's not necessarily the right step, especially if someone in your vehicle is injured or someone in the other vehicle is injured.
Who should you contact first after a collision? And this is, of course, assuming that nobody is injured, there's not an inherent medical need that needs to be attended to immediately.
Yeah, so if you're in an accident and nobody needs sort of emergency services, you do need to let your insurance company know, and you're supposed to let them know within 7 days. It's a good idea to sort of see how things play out, because sometimes at the scene, you might feel fine, or like I said, there's adrenaline pumping. So if you call your insurance company right away and say you're fine, but then injuries sort of surface over the next few days, you can have a hard time backtracking on that. And we see that all the time. Somebody gets home from an accident, calls their insurance company, says they're fine, and then can't get out of bed the next day. And then it's an uphill battle getting the compensation they need because they told their insurance company they were fine at the beginning. So waiting that few days to see how things settle can make a huge difference.
I would imagine that you're pretty shaken up after an accident, whether it's a large one or a small one, and knowing that you have about 7 days to call your insurance company, If you leave that scene, are there things that folks leave behind from the scene without calling their insurance? Because once you're right there on the scene, everything is visual. You can take account of what happens. Do you miss something by going home and then calling a few days after?
Well, I mean, almost no one calls from the scene. That would be, that would not be wise. You need to sort of be somewhere where you can settle down and sort of think about what happened. But certainly at the scene, there's a lot you can do to protect yourself. You want to make sure that you get everybody's name, address, driver's license number. You could take a picture of the other person's driver's license and you can let them take a picture of yours. Take a picture of their insurance slip, the pink slip that's hopefully in everybody's glove box. If you think there could be a debate about what happened in the accident, it's a good idea to take a picture of the scene, take a picture of your car, the damage, their car, the damage. If the cars haven't been moved, you can take a picture of where the cars are positioned in the intersection or on the roadway. All of those things are very, very helpful. And so if you could do it safely, you should. The other thing that can be immensely helpful is witnesses. Lots of people leave a scene. Somebody was very helpful. Somebody came to their aid. Somebody saw the accident and they don't get that information. Just get the person to send you a text. And then you have their text information and later on you or your lawyer can follow up. It'll make a ton of difference. Witnesses change everything in car accident cases.
Okay, that is really good to know. Brenda, you're going to stick around. We're going to continue our conversation, Ask the Expert. We're talking with Brenda Hollingsworth, personal injury lawyer. If you've got any questions for her, here's how you can get in touch with us. We'll get those questions to her directly. You can see got her phone number there. Also email ottawa.morning@ctv.ca, Facebook, CTV Ottawa Morning Live. We are continuing our conversation with Ask the Experts. Hey, send us your questions for Auger Hollingsworth. We're talking with Brenda Hollingsworth. She's a personal injury lawyer. She is here to answer your questions. You can see our phone number there. You can also reach out to us via email, ottawa.morning@ctv.ca, Facebook, CTV Ottawa Morning Live. Brenda, I've got a question here along the lines of insurance, because that's what we've been talking about a little bit more in detail. We're talking about car accidents and if you're in one. And actually, August is the month where we see the most car accidents in Ontario, which I didn't know. That's quite surprising. But what are your legal rights? You're in a car accident and the other person's insurance contacts you.
Right. So this is something to be aware of. You have an obligation to deal with your own insurance company. If they have questions about how the accident happened or your injuries, you have to deal with your own insurance company. You do not have to deal with the other person's insurance company. That's the way insurance is set up in Ontario, and most of the time you should not. So if you get contacted by the other party's insurance company, that's a good time to talk to a lawyer. Or, if you think you might have been at fault for the accident, talk to your own insurance company, and maybe they'll get you a lawyer if they think you need one. But if you are injured and you're not at fault, talk to a lawyer before you talk to the other side's insurance company. That's really important.
Is there anything amiss, something wrong with the other person's insurance company trying to contact you?
No, they're allowed to. They're absolutely allowed to. They can reach out. They can, a lot of people will settle a case for $1,000 or $2,000, and they can make that deal directly with an insurance adjuster. And if you're not really injured, that's fine. But the problem is a lot of times, and it doesn't happen as much as it used to because people are better informed, but it used to happen a lot that somebody would settle their case for $5,000, realize that they've got a serious, important impairment that's going to last the rest of their lives. They come back to us and say, is there anything you can do about it? And most of the time there isn't. Most of the time you've signed away your rights. So they are allowed to do that. But you should protect yourself with a free consultation. Most personal injury lawyers in Ontario, including at our firm, will give you a free consultation. So why not sort of find out your rights, find out whether you have a case, and then go from there.
Brenda, what would a new client interview be like? Can you kind of walk us through it if you are looking for a lawyer and you go in for a consultation? What should we look for?
Yeah, so we have a telephone intake system. So you'll call our office and we'll get some basic information. We do that mostly to make sure that it's a case that we could potentially help you with and figure out who you should meet with at our firm. And then you'll have a meeting with a lawyer, and the lawyer will ask you a lot of questions. They'll ask you about the accident itself and your injuries, also about your past medical history, about your job history, your family, how the accident has impacted your life, what was your life like before, what rehabilitation you've done, what rehabilitation you think you need. So we try to get as full a picture as we can. The other thing we ask that, people find difficult is we ask for the name of all your doctors and rehab people because we need to get their records. One of the things that takes up a lot of time during these cases is getting medical records. And so the sooner we have your information, the faster we can work your case. And so we often ask for that information as well. The meetings, now that we're doing them on Zoom or on the phone, the meetings take sort of 35 to 40 minutes. An in-person one tends to be longer, and we are starting to do in-person, certainly in Ottawa, we're starting to do in-person new client meetings if clients want them. We do really enjoy that. We miss that contact. But phone and virtual video is also certainly acceptable.
We're going to continue our conversation with Brenda Hollingsworth. We're talking about knowing your rights if you're in a car accident. Brenda, you're going to stick around. Thank you very much. And if you've got questions for us, for Brenda, here you go. You can, we got our phone lines are open, as well as you can reach out to us via Facebook and email as well, ottawa.morning@ctv.ca. We are continuing our conversation. Ask the Expert. If you want to reach out and contact Auger Hollingsworth, and Brenda Hollingsworth, who's a personal injury lawyer, there's their information right on the screen. You can give them a call. Their website, ahinjurylaw.com, and you can see their address information as well. Reach out, give them a call. They are at your disposal if you have any questions for them. Email as well, info@ottawalawfirm.ca. Brenda, we got to continue this conversation here. I wanted to ask you this. What happens if you're involved in a car accident and you are injured? What kind of benefits and compensation is available?
Right, there's really two different pots of money. One is the no-fault benefits that are generally available through your own insurance company. If you're a pedestrian or a cyclist and you don't have insurance, then you'll get it through the other car's insurance company. But the no-fault benefits include things like some funding for rehab, like physio or chiro, psychology. There's an income replacement benefit. It's only $400 a week, but it's something if you need attendant care, somebody to look after you because you can't move, maybe you've broken your leg. So it's funding for that kind of thing. And there are different levels of benefits. There's a minor injury benefit, and there's a catastrophic benefit, and there's something in between. So getting advice about what benefits are available to you and how to apply for them is a reason to contact a personal injury lawyer. The other pot of money is what most of us think of, which is suing the at-fault driver. And certainly you can do that in Ontario. A lot of people think we're no fault and you can't do it, but you certainly can. And lots of people do. You can sue for pain and suffering. You can sue for loss of income, sort of the difference between your actual loss of income and what you get as income replacement. You can sue for out-of-pocket expenses that you have incurred because of the accident. And these lawsuits rate, sometimes a client will get $25,000, and we've also had clients get into the millions. So the range is really very significant depending on the injuries that you've suffered.
How long would it take for a person to recoup and to get those benefits or compensation normally?
Yeah, so the one thing I will say, the process is not fast. So just to give you an idea, for accident benefits, the no-fault benefits, you're not even allowed to talk about settling those for a full calendar year after the accident. And then for a lawsuit, be very unusual to settle that before 2 years. Some cases certainly go longer if there's a fight over who's at fault for the accident, or if the insurance company doesn't agree that you are as injured as we say you are. There can be a dispute, and you know, if a case goes to trial, it's usually 5 or 6 years after the accident. So there is a time lag, and certainly COVID hasn't helped.
Okay.
There was a delay in scheduling trials, as you can imagine. In the next 12 months, our firm has 15 trials. Normally, we might have 3. So that gives you an idea of how they've compressed things to try and make up for the backlog. And we're actually lucky in the East region that they've done that. Other areas like Toronto, the legs are much, much longer.
Brenda, you also have a new book out. Tell us a bit about that and where people can pick it up. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, so this, The Road to Recovery, my partner and I wrote this. It was published at the beginning of 2022. 238 long pages, and it's written for everyday folk to learn about how to manage your person and your claim if you have had an accident. And it's not only for car accidents, actually, it's also for other kinds of accidents that could give rise to a personal injury claim. So it is available on Amazon. It's about $20. But it's also available for free for viewers, for the first 10 viewers of this program who reach out to our firm. So AH Injury Law, you can reach out there, or you can call us 613-233-4529. And if you say that you saw the program and you give your address, we'll mail you a copy. We'll mail you a copy right away. We've had lots of great feedback. It was actually an Amazon bestseller for a short period. Yeah,
excellent.
We were pretty happy about that. Unexpected.
That's great. Can you hold that up again? I want to get the title real quick. We got to go there.
Yeah,
The Road to Recovery. There you go. The Road to Recovery. Yeah. All right. Here's the information how to get a hold of Brenda Hollingsworth, a personal injury lawyer for Auger Hollingsworth. You see the information there, their phone number, email, info@ottawalawfirm.ca. Brenda, thank you so much.